Okay, everybody. For most people, they probably took the winter off when it came to photography. I was not one of them because the fort was open. So let's talk about what gear you should have with you going forward. And this will apply to winter in a way as well. And I'll point out the differences as we go. So if you're going to be out taking photographs, especially in an event, go look at the venue, right? Most important thing on everything I talk to you about today is going to be doing your homework, all right? Making sure you're familiar with the venue, what the weather's going to be like, what the normal temperatures are for the area, that kind of thing. Because that is what's going to help you figure out what you're going to need. Now, I carry one camera and I swap the lens. So the lens that I usually use is on the camera with a 100 to 500, I think it is, I forget, in a bag that I carry on the other side. So the camera's on the right side, the bag's on the left side. So I can swing both of them around to get what I need. But that means that I've got a small bag that I'm carrying around that I can put other things in. Now, what would you want to carry? Think about what your day is going to look like, right? Maybe you're going to get a chance to go get food, maybe not. So grab a couple of granola bars or something like that that won't melt in the heat and put them in the bag, all right, with the lens. Now my bag has outside zippered pockets, so I can just drop it in there. Come winter, what I will do is I may put food in there, which because the fort isn't open, the restaurant there isn't open during the winter, there is no way for me to get food on site, so I will make sure that I carry something with me. Also, I will throw some hand warmers in, those chemical ones. I have a pair of gloves. For me, having my fingers exposed is a problem. So the gloves that I get have to allow my fingers to manipulate the screens and at the same time be able to keep them warm and work the shutter and things. So what that means is I like to have a glove, an inner glove that takes the heating pads to them, so chemical heaters, so that if I have to take my hands out to work outside of the bigger gloves, it'll keep the hand warm while I do the other things that I have to do that the bigger gloves won't allow me to do. And I hate mittens. I've never been a fan of mittens. However, when it comes to cold weather, mittens are your best bet. And that's because the heat from each of the fingers can warm the finger next to it. It's like that shared bodily warmth, all right? Having your fingers individually siloed into a glove causes the problem. So probably the best thing for a photographer to find would be a mitten that covers all but your trigger finger, right? So that is set aside so that you can manipulate things while the rest of your fingers are tucked away, which will get you through most things. You know, you got your thumb free, you've got one finger free. That'll allow you to manipulate a lot of stuff on a camera. But getting back to the summer, you're going to want to have some way of keeping hydrated. Now, people who hike can have a backpack that has water in it. I've got one of those to try out. I didn't get a chance to try it out last year. There wasn't a need. I typically carry a blender bottle with me. Now, the advantage of that is it allows you to use a carabiner to connect it. And again, if you're only carrying one camera, even with the bag on the other side, there's still a place for me to hook a carabiner to my pants, right? Or to the bag itself and carry the water bottle there. I typically don't hook it to the bag because when I pull it around with the lens, that can cause an issue. But if you got a carabiner that'll go around a belt, wear your belt and hook that carabiner onto it, and your bottle is out of the way and easily carried. So you've taken care of food and you've taken care of water. But what about the heat, right? You're going to want to make sure that you have a hat that will allow you to take photographs. Now, if you've ever shot with a brim, especially if you switch that camera to go into portrait, that brim's in the way, right? and I'm constantly swapping the hat around so it's backwards, but I've got the hat. You're going to want to have something on your head to help keep the heat off of the top of your head. But bearing in mind that if it's got a brim in front, you're probably going to have to swap it around. And not having a brim means that you're going to have sunglasses. Sunglasses are a positive and a negative. They're a positive as they're going to protect your eyes, but they're a negative because when they're dark like that, you can't tell when you look through your viewfinder what you're looking at. So if you're going to have a tinted glass on of any kind, make sure you get the straps so it goes around your neck, so you can just whip them off, let them fall around your neck, take your photographs bare-eyed, and then you can pop them back on again, and you don't have to worry about them getting lost or taking them off and trying to put them in your pocket or anything like that. If you've got the neck strap on it, you just pop them off and pop them back on, and you're good to go. I don't recommend putting them on top of your head. Why? Because you have a hat there already. And if you've got the hat in place and you try to put the glasses on it, odds are something's going to get lost. But what else do you need? Well, where are you going to shoot? What's the environment going to look like? When I'm at the fort, there are wet areas, the lake's right there, and there are wooded areas. Some of the reenactments take place in those wooded areas, and that means insects, right? It means insects anywhere near the lake to begin with, but they can be a little bit more intense closer to the lake or within the wooded area. So that means you're going to have some kind of insect repellent. Also, sunscreen. So if you can get one that's combined, that's a great thing to get because that kills two birds with one stone. You are protected from the sun and the exposure that you're going to have. Remember, if you're shooting an event outside, you could be out in the sun for hours and hours and hours. And if again, what does your venue look like? Is there a place for you to get out of the sun? Is there a place for you to cool down? Is there a place for you to get food? Is there a place for you to get water? Anything that you can't get on site or would be difficult or inconvenient to get on site, you've got to find another way around. Now, what do I mean by inconvenient? When the fort's doing its big events, the cafe, which I love, can get really crowded. That means if you want water, you may have a problem even getting somebody to give you the water because they've got so many tables filled with people. So keep all of that in mind. Keep a backup of some kind that you can bring with you so that you can go back when it's not as busy. Or talk to the cafe crew of wherever you're going to be and ask them what their day looks like, typically. And that'll let you know when's a good time for you to go in and take care of things. I like to hit the cafe up right when it opens because that way I can get in. They're just starting up the grill. I feel a little bad because I'm starting them early, but they start up the grill. I can get whatever food that I want. And there aren't a bunch of other people there that I have to compete with to get in and out. And it makes it a lot quicker. You're not waiting while your food's number 12 in line when the place is packed. So you want to have water. You want to have food. You want to have a way of carrying that around with you. You want to have a hat. You want to have sunscreen. You want to have insect repellent. The big thing here is making sure that you do your homework and research the area that you're going to be in for the event. In addition to that, the other big thing to do is to look at the weather report, right? Will your camera be getting wet? Do you have to put something around your camera to protect it? Is it going to be 90 degrees while you're doing the event? What do you need to take into account? Again, even if there isn't a area to get out of the sun, there might be some place that you can get under a tree for a little bit, something that you can work with. If you're talking like a place at the fort, there's a lot of trees and things around there that you can get to, and you've got the wind coming off the lake, right? If you're talking about a ball game, not a lot of places you can hide around there. You can get underneath the stands, depending on the size of the stadium that you're in, and get out of the sun a little bit there as well. If you're going to a AAA game, you might be bleachers, and you might be stuck in the sun for the entire time. So make sure that you know what the event's going to look like and what avenues you have to take care of yourself, because it doesn't do you any good if you're overheated and that causes you to miss shots or forget shots or impair your health in any way. That's not something you want to ever do. You have to take care of you while you're out doing these photographs. In addition to that, as we talked before, other equipment that you might have that needs to be there that's photo related is, do you want to carry a monopod or a tripod with you? Can you, first of all, check with the event, but do you want to carry that with you so that you're not keeping that camera up all the time, especially if you're doing an event like a reenactment, or even if you're doing a fencing event, right? If the fencers are there and you're waiting for a fencer, it's much easier to set up a tripod or have the monopod there with the camera sitting on it so you're not holding that up the entire time. And when certain things happen, you can take pictures quicker because you're not swinging the camera up. If the entire event's happening and you're viewing it through your lens finder, that allows you to quickly and easily react to what's going on around you. By not having to hold the camera up, that means you can do it for a much longer amount of time. And if it's hot outside, having that extra aid to take that weight will help you in the long run. So again, the big thing that I want to convey here is I want you guys to research the area that you're going to go to. If you can go to it in advance so you can walk around the grounds, for example, and get a feel for where you're going to be, that's the best that you can get. Make sure you check the weather forecast. And if you can't get to the event and walk around, see if you can find some aerial photographs of it. See if you can find what the average temperatures and wind conditions are like for that area. And there's many places online that you can go look at historical weather data for that area. That'll allow you to know if there's going to be a breeze that's going to cool you off, and you can walk the ground in your head by looking at the aerial photographs. And that's what I got for you guys this week, and I'll talk to you all next week.